The storm Gerrit moves in from the Atlantic, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, outbreaks of snow for Scotland as well. Met Office warnings in force for much of the country over the next 24 hours, staying unsettled as we move into Thursday as well. So let's take a look at the details for the day ahead.
So, welcome to another episode of Extreme Fly Fishing with Len South. Last time I came trout fishing was a couple of days before Christmas. Now it's a couple of days after Christmas, and the weather conditions haven't improved at all. If anything, the weather's got worse. It's been raining. It's been raining. That looked like it was all set up, doesn't it? At this point, say the weather's got worse and then slip. No, that's not the case at all. It is extremely wet underfoot. Whoops, particularly when you're going downhill. And it's a little bit windy now, but we are promised at 10 o'clock, which is in a couple of hours' time, 45-mile-an-hour winds, which is impressive and will be exciting. Just looking down at the lake at the moment, it's not looking too bad. It's windy by all accounts, but I don't think it's... I've fished in a lot worse. So let's see how we got on. You can see how wet it is. There's standing water everywhere. There's something making some ripples in the... Look, you can see it there, can't you? All that standing water. I often get excited and a bit confused when I think I can see fish ripples and it turns out to be a little diving duck, and I'm seeing what I think are fish ripples but could equally be a diving duck. So hey, this isn't going to catch fish, is it? Oh, by the way, and we're expecting rain, and I can just feel one or two drips. So let's get the tackle set up, the boat ready, because the boat is not in any stretch of the imagination ready, and let's get out there. And as I keep saying, you've got to be in it to win it. So let's put the gear down and let's get the boat prepped. Right, so this time I've got two anchors at the bow, because last time I came fishing my usual setup is one at the bow, one at the stern, and the one at the bow on its own wasn't holding, so I needed two, and it was quite a faff getting two anchors set up at the bow when the boat's drifting down the river at a rate of knots. So the other thing I discovered was it's imperative in high winds to set the tackle up on land, so your rod tip can be reached when you're standing up and your reel doesn't end up in the water, which isn't the end of the world obviously, but it's not ideal. So this is a Grays 8-weight, and I'm going to be fishing a floating line, and there's a bit of debate about which fly to use. It looks like a couple of fish may have been caught on a damsel, which from the limited information might be a blue flash damsel. Another one's caught on an HH, which I'm not quite sure what HH means. Possibly hothead, is it one with a bit of frizzy on it? I don't know. Anyway, I've got some pretty lurid flies and a fair range of damsels. What I found quite well, there's something out there, I'm pretty sure. What I found quite useful in the past is a Montana, so we might give that a go. Start with your favourite flies, I say. Well, so far this morning I've had 2 slices of toast and Marmite, so I feel set up to brave the world. And always a bonus at my age, getting the line through the eye of the fly first time. And away. Don't let go of the painter. Don't trip up on the anchor ropes. All sorts of things not to do. Okay, let's get out into deeper water with the oars because it's quite shallow. I don't want the prop fouling. I saw something rising just out here. I'm just hoping it's not a little diving duck. There is a little diving duck, so maybe it was. Right, let's get some anchors down and let's start the business of fishing. I think at the moment I'm just going to need one, as it really isn't that windy. What's not to like is the line being wrapped round the rod. That's definitely not to like. Right, behave. Right, I'll do the thing I should have done to start with, which is to check it's gone through all the rings. There's nothing worse than thinking my casting's getting worse and you find that you haven't gone through all the rings. Oh, I feel quite warm now. I'm definitely going to need some more line out. Right, first cast. Just going to make the most of this nice weather. I suspect casting is going to be very difficult in an hour or two. You can't always tell straight away where the wind's coming from. The wind's actually going that away, which is kind of helpful, I suppose. Except for the fact I wanted to fish over there. Never mind. Any way the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. Those first few casts, there's always the sense of quick win before you inevitably settle down to the long slog of it's not going to be fish early on. It's going to be tough. Well, I have to say that glorious anticipation of a fish in the first few casts hasn't materialised, and I never really expected it to. So fortunately the wind is such that I can actually cast all round the boat, which is an absolute bonus. Can't say it's doing me any good, but I'm at least able to cover quite a lot of water. I've changed from a Montana with a bit of sparkle on the front to a yellow Montana, and that's proving just as effective, or not, as the case may be. But literally, I mean, I've been here about 15 minutes, so I really shouldn't be complaining. I'm just going to check the fly and see if indeed we have weed. Yes, we do. Anticipation. Oh dear, my fly's coming undone. Try and get rid of that. So I've gone through all the big stuff, not a take. So even though it's not even January yet, I've decided to go small. So I'm using a dial back, size 16, 14. What else? What do you got to lose? Well, I got a really decent pull, and turned out to be a small sunken branch. So I've removed the small sunken branch. Oh, by the way, I'm back with a yellowy orangey Montana. Why? Can't tell you why, but it is what it is. I've got the wind right at my back, so I'm casting into a fairly sheltered bay. So I'm hoping there might be a couple of fish just holed up in here. Or one. Or a shoal. I'm not fussy. Right, we're now into hardcore fishing. We've had to move from the shelter because couldn't get any fish, and we're into the really exposed part of the lake. I've had to put 2 anchors down because I'm just concerned about the drifting. The boat's moving a lot, but that's the name of the game. So I've got a blue flash damsel on with a gold head. I'm in quite deep water here by comparison to the rest of the lake. It's about 8 foot. So I'm just going to keep the fly down and fish near the bottom and see what we can make of it. It promises to be an interesting session. We had a couple of hours this morning where I kept on saying, oh, it's going to get windy later on. The wind has arrived, so I'm going to let that sink down, and got the remains of a cup of tea in here, which is still reasonably warm. Tastes of soap for some reason. I think it may have been in the dishwasher. Well, I've resorted to a big white lure, which tells you I'm in the last chance saloon, and the wind's really got up now. I'm tucked away in a little corner, but I can pretty much only cast in one direction, so I'm very limited. Just cast out the back of the boat, bring it in. Can't cast in any other direction because of the wind. So I'm trying to get over there, but I'm pretty close to that bank. So I think one more move and then it's adios. I'm out of here. Well, it's not landed yet, so we need to calm down a bit. But there's a nice bend in the rod. Calm down then, calm down. Whoa, there it is. And remember to breathe. Straight Len. Suddenly decided to wake up and put up a fight. Come to Daddy. Away, there we go. Biggest fish in the lake at all. But there we have the gold head, lightly hooked. Right, we're getting out of dodge at a rate of knots because cold weather and hot tea in a boat is not a good combination. I'm saying no more. Been round the lake. I was working on the basis the fish would probably be round the edge, so I've tried round the edge. A couple of times I was out in the middle. But it's a big lake, and if they're shoaled up, chances of finding them are remote. But it's blown off the Christmas cobwebs, so let's hope we can catch a few in the new year. So that's it for 2023.